They handed me the microphone like it was a joke, not gently, not with respect. Someone in the front row laughed and said, "Let's hear what she's got," the way people say, "Watch this right before something goes wrong." A couple phones came up immediately, already recording, already hungry. I could feel it in my chest before I even touched the mic. This wasn't an invitation, it was entertainment. I was supposed to trip, crack, freeze, give them something to post later with a caption and a laughing emoji. I was standing near the back of the auditorium, half in shadow, half pretending I belonged there. My jacket was thrifted, my shoes were clean but tired, and I knew how I looked in that room. Out of place, temporary, like I'd wandered in by accident and security just hadn't noticed yet. When the mic landed in my hand, cold metal against my palm, the laughter spread. Not loud, not cruel enough to get anyone in trouble, just enough to let me know exactly where I ranked. I could hear someone whisper, "This should be good," and not in the way they meant it. I stood there longer than was comfortable. Long enough for the silence to get awkward, long enough for someone to cough on purpose, long enough for the host to glance at their watch and smile that tight, polite smile people use when they don't expect much. What they didn't know, what they couldn't know, was that I'd been in moments like this before. Different rooms, different faces, same feeling. That pressure behind the ribs, that choice you have to make fast. Do I disappear, or do I stay? Because disappearing is easy. You laugh it off. You mumble something. You hand the mic back and tell yourself it didn't matter anyway. I've done that before. I learned early how to be small without anyone asking me to, but this time something else crept in. Not confidence, not yet. Something quieter, colder, the kind of calm that shows up when you realize you don't actually owe anyone the version of yourself they expect. People think silence means you've got nothing. Sometimes it just means you're choosing when to speak. I took a step forwards. One step. The lights felt hotter up close, like they were waiting to expose something. I could feel my heartbeat in my throat, feel my hands shake just enough that I had to tighten my grip on the mic. Someone laughed again, softer this time, like they were already bored. And in that second, right before I opened my mouth, everything else flashed through me. Early mornings, buses that smelled like diesel and cheap coffee, rooms where I'd learned to speak without being heard. All the times I'd been told, not directly, never directly, that I should be grateful just to be in the building. I thought about the rent notice folded in my bag, about the way numbers never quite worked no matter how carefully I lined them up, about how tired it is to always be the one adjusting, explaining, swallowing things whole. Then I spoke. Not loud, not dramatic, just steady. The first few words didn't land, I could tell. People were still waiting for the punchline, still holding on to that half smile. I kept going anyway. I let the pauses breathe. I didn't rush to earn their approval. Halfway through, something shifted. It's subtle when it happens, you feel it more than you see it. A phone lowered. A laugh died unfinished. The air changed like a room realizing it misjudged the weather. I saw a guy in the front row straighten in his seat. Saw someone nudge their friend not to mock me, but to say, "Listen." The host stopped smiling. The silence wasn't awkward anymore. It was focused. And that's when I knew. I wasn't fighting them. I was being heard. I talked about doors that look open until you reach for them. About being told to wait your turn when there is no line. About how some people call it merit when the rules were written with their name already on them. I didn't accuse. I didn't point. I didn't need to. The truth has a way of landing where it's supposed to. By the time I finished, the room was still. Not frozen, just quiet. The kind of quiet that sits heavy, like it's deciding what to do next. Then someone clapped. Just one. Then another. Then it rolled through the room like a delayed reaction nobody planned for. I handed the mic back without a word and walked off. No bow. No smile. I didn't look at the people who laughed first. I didn't need to see their faces change. I could feel it. Back in the hallway, my legs finally started shaking. That's the part nobody films. The aftermath, when the adrenaline drains and you're left alone with what you just did. I leaned against the wall, closed my eyes, and let myself breathe. I didn't win anything that day. No prize, no check, no dramatic announcement. What I walked away with was quieter than that and heavier. I walked away knowing I didn't fold. Later, people tried to talk to me. Some awkward congratulations. Some apologies that weren't really apologies. A couple I didn't know you had that in you comments that said more than they realized. I nodded. I smiled when it felt right. I went home. That night, lying in bed, I replayed it over and over. Not the applause, not the faces, but the moment before I spoke. That choice, that fork in the road where I could have stayed small and familiar, or taken up space and made it real. Here's the thing no one tells you. Being underestimated hurts, but being silent about who you are hurts more. I don't think those people meant to be cruel. Most of them weren't villains. They were just comfortable. Used to a world that made sense to them. Used to deciding who mattered by how easy they were to recognize. Sometimes people hand you the microphone as a joke, not realizing they're about to hear something that doesn't fit their story. I didn't leave louder, I left lighter, and I've been thinking about that ever since. So, let me ask you something. Have you ever been underestimated right before your moment? Do you think people judge talent, or just the packaging it comes in? And if they handed you the mic tomorrow, honestly, what would you say? Drop it in the comments. I'm listening.